Jason out in Fullerton wrote in, with DVDs decoding to an analog signal, the decoding quality varied from DVD player to DVD player, but the digital output of the audio was exactly the same, no matter what the DVD player was priced. With Blu-rays outputting to HDMI, a digital signal, does the decoding quality vary between differently priced Blu-ray players? Where does the digital video signal decoding take place? Jason down in Fullerton, CA.
Good question.
Where's the magic?
The magic's in the player, normally. And there are differences between players, particularly with color decoding. Now, I will say that picture detail, I will throw up the most strenuous test patterns there are, and I don't see much of a difference in overall picture detail. But when it comes to color information, which is part of that detail, I do see differences. Particularly the larger you blow these images up on projection screens, when you're talking, like a 7 or 8 or 9 foot picture, you can really start to pick out differences a little bit easier than you can on smaller screens. Particularly the problems you'll see with color decoding relate to the edges of colored objects. Animation's a great thing to look at. They have where if the color is not being reconstructed into that RGB format, color on the disc is very compressed. It's the most compressed part of that video signal. The detail part is not as compressed. So that color information needs to be reconstituted and made to that red, blue, green signal that is required to display it on the TV. And how the player goes about doing that it differs from player to player, and some do it better. I have a lot of people tell me that on the biggest screens they played, the Panasonic players typically do color processing really, really well. And that's just something I've experienced personally, and I see it quite a bit. But I won't say it's going to be night and day. On smaller screens, you'll be pressed to see a difference on any of these players. Although I will say, if a player is touting its color capabilities, that might be an important feature. Like I said, it becomes more important with the larger screen sizes.
So if I choose to do, the HDMI decoding can be done, or the HDMI video decoding can be done in the Blu-ray player, in my television, or some device in between, like the Anchor Bay products, the DVD Edge we showed off last week.
It's getting processed by the player, and then it's coming out through HDMI. It could be in one of two formats. It could be an RGB format or a component video format coming out of the player. That's usually selectable. In most cases, it's probably component video that's coming out, which is still a compressed format, and then that signal would be transmitted digitally over HDMI, and then the TV would be doing decoding there. It could be happening, but I'm going to say in most cases, it's happening on the player itself, and there are differences, but I'd say they're just minor. Not minor, but...
So basically, if you don't have a 7 or 8 foot screen, you can pretty much go with anything.
I would say so. I'd say you'd be pretty satisfied with it. But if you're looking for the high end, look around for the players that tout their ability for color reprocessing and getting that in line.
It's also worth pointing out that a more expensive, I could be proved horribly wrong by this, but generally speaking, a more reputable or more expensive brand of Blu-ray player is likely to still be playing new Blu-ray discs 2 years from now, because in theory, that company should still be around and doing firmware updates for the
That's
Blu-ray
arguably
players.
more important than just about anything right now, is ensuring that the internal code for these set-top players is being updated on a regular basis to support the new discs and new protection technologies that come out to keep us from copying these things. So it's good to have a player that is being maintained by the company that built it.
And you, of course, have to put those updates on the player, however they get put out there.